Hi children, how are you? You have taken rest for a long time in between. You had a break. Again you are returned, so I think you are very energetic and very eager to study. So hope all of you are doing well with the classes. So do your duties well, and I appreciate till now you have done it well. Now we will continue with that living world which we started in the last class. So there we studied about the living world, how diverse is the living world, biodiversity, various kinds of plants and animals are there, and how we can handle this diversity by giving nomenclature. What kind of nomenclature? Binomial nomenclature. Giving scientific names. Who put forward this binomial nomenclature? Carolus Linnaeus. And what are the principles of nomenclature? And also we studied about the need for arranging or classifying. What is classification? What is the need for arranging these organisms into different categories? Classification. What is classification? Grouping organisms into convenient categories based on certain easily observable characters. We call them classification. And this classification enables the easy study of organisms, recognizing it easily, and handling the diverse kinds of organisms. And at last we studied about taxonomy and systematics. Now today we will continue with that topic. Next topic is about hierarchy of categories. So all living organisms are put into different categories based on certain characteristics or relationship among them. So they are put into different categories. And these categories actually form a hierarchy, and the arrangement of this or classification which forms there is a hierarchy. Hierarchy means there is a descending sequence of this categories. So all living organisms are put into 7 obligatory categories, which is a descending sequence from higher to lower. So which you are already familiar with in 9th standard. So that 7 obligatory characteristics starting from kingdom to lowest level called species. So all living organisms, they are put into this hierarchy of 7 categories called this kingdom to species. So highest category is called kingdom. So as we come from kingdom to the species, the similarities are more. And as we move from species to kingdom, the similarities are lesser and lesser. And species is the lowest level of classification, or the unit of classification. You can call it species. So first we will see the obligatory categories. So kingdom, then phylum, or in plants it is called division. Then class. After class, order. After order, family. After family, genus, and the last is called species.
Following are the taxonomic categories for plants and animals. So you can see the only difference is that plants it is division, for animals it is phylum. So plants it is kingdom, division, class, order, family, genus, species. And for animals it is kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. And you can see as we move from species to kingdom, the similarity decreases. Similar characters are lesser and lesser. So these are the taxonomic categories, showing the hierarchy of categories.
So we find this hierarchy of categories from kingdom to species. So highest category is called the kingdom, then phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Then if we move from species to kingdom, species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. So in this way these are the 7 categories, and all living organisms, they are categories, or they are arranged into these categories. So species is the lowest level of classification. And species, how can we define a species? So you can see now this is the unit of classification or lowest level of classification. A group of species come under a genus. A group of genus come under a family. A group of family under an order. A group of order under a class. Having some similarity, based on some similarities and differences we are putting up. And a group of class coming under a phylum, and a group of phylum coming under kingdom. Okay, so we see what are species. So species are a group of organisms which are having certain common features. So species are a group of organisms having common features and which are living in the same habitat, which are able to interbreed and produce fertile offsprings, and also they come from a common ancestor. Such organisms we call them, or group of organisms we call them, a species. So species are group of organisms having common features. They are capable of interbreeding and producing fertile offsprings, and they come from or evolved from a common ancestor. Such groups are, we call it species. So we human being are a species. Okay, so like that if you go to our surroundings we find different species of plants and animals. Different species of varieties of plants and animals we find. So we'll go more into this classification with the help of a few examples. We'll understand better these 7 obligate categories with the help of a few examples.
Earth is a habitat of millions of plants and animals, and new species are being discovered every day. In order to group these plants and animals based on observable characters, several taxonomists have classified them in a hierarchical structure that consists of ranks or categories. Every category is referred to as a unit of classification and is commonly termed as taxon. Since a category is a part of the taxonomic arrangement, it is known as a taxonomic category, and all categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. Although the classification of living organisms seems difficult, you need to have a good knowledge of the characters of an individual organism or a group of organisms to classify them. This also helps you identify the similarities and dissimilarities among the same and different kinds of individual organisms. Organisms are classified using common categories such as kingdom, phylum or division, class, order, family, genus, and species. These taxonomic categories are also known as broad categories. Species is the basic rank in a taxonomic category. It is a group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities. You can distinguish one species from another closely related species based on morphological characters. Think of the varieties of mangoes available in the market, or the different species of rose in the garden. The next rank is genus, which consists of a group of related species that exhibit similar characteristics in comparison to species of other genera. In case of plants, the banyan and peepal trees have certain similarities, and therefore belong to the genus Ficus. Among animals, the lion, the tiger, and the leopard are closely linked, and thus are in the genus Panthera. However, the genus Panthera differs slightly from another genus, Felis, which includes cats. The next rank or category is family, which consists of a group of related genera with fewer similarities as compared to genus and species. For example, orange, lemon, and grapefruit belong to the family Rutaceae or the citrus family. Likewise, the lion, the tiger, the leopard, and the cat fall into the family Felidae. Although a cat and a dog exhibit some similarities and some differences, they are separated into two different families, Felidae and Canidae, respectively. Order is the next category, which is a collection of related families. However, the number of similarities is less than that seen in a family. For example, the order Lepidoptera includes butterflies and moths belonging to the families Papilionidae and Tineidae, respectively. Similarly, families like Felidae and Canidae are included in the order Carnivora, while plant families like Convolvulaceae and Solanaceae are included in the order Polymonials on the basis of floral characters. The next category is class, which consists of related orders. Consider the two orders Primata and Carnivora. Order Primata includes the monkey, the gorilla, and the gibbon, while Order Carnivora includes animals like the tiger, the cat, and the dog. Although these two orders are different, they are classified under the class Mammalia. Phylum or division is the next category. Animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals have common features like the presence of notochord and a dorsal hollow neural system, and are thus categorized as phylum Chordata. Similarly, all flowering plants are categorized under the division Angiospermae or Magnoliophyta. The highest taxonomic category is kingdom. All animals are put under kingdom Animalia, and all plants fall under kingdom Plantae. So, as we go higher from species to kingdom, the number of common characters goes on decreasing. Thus, by observing the characteristic features of an individual organism, taxonomists have classified living organisms into different taxonomic categories. Our planet is filled with numerous living organisms. To simplify the study of these organisms, they are classified into convenient categories based on their characteristics. This classification process is known as taxonomy. Taxonomic studies require careful identification of the organisms, for which intensive laboratory and field studies are carried out, and actual specimens of plant and animal species are collected. These studies help in disciplines such as agriculture, forestry, industry, and in knowing the biodiversity. Over the years, biologists have developed many methods and techniques that help in taxonomic studies. These are also known as taxonomical aids. Herbariums, botanical gardens, museums, zoological parks, and quays are some examples of taxonomical aids. Let's learn a little more about these aids. A herbarium is a storehouse where a collection of dried plant specimens are mounted on sheets, labeled, and systematically arranged based on the universally accepted system of classification for use in scientific study. Details like the date and place of collection, the English, local and botanical names, the family of the specimens and the collector's name are also recorded. These herbarium specimens are often used as reference material in taxonomic studies. Another place that provides taxonomical aid is a botanical garden. A wide variety of plants are cultivated in these gardens for scientific research, conservation, display, and education. Each plant is labeled with its botanical or scientific name and family. Some of the famous botanical gardens are at Kew in England, the Indian Botanical Garden in Howrah, and the National Botanical Research Institute in Lucknow. Biological museums, set up in educational institutions, also act as taxonomical aids. These museums have collections of preserved plants and animals, which are used for study and reference. They are preserved in jars using preservative solutions or as dry specimens. Insects are collected, killed, pinned, and then preserved in insect boxes. Larger animals are typically stuffed and preserved, or their skeletons are displayed. Zoological parks or zoos also help in taxonomical studies. These places house wild animals in protected environments similar to their natural habitats under human supervision. An animal's food habits and behavior can be studied here.
Here are organisms with their taxonomic categories. This indicates the taxonomic categories to which some common organisms like housefly, man, mango, and wheat belong. First one is common name man, biological name Homo sapiens, genus Homo, family Hominidae, order Primata, class Mammalia, phylum Chordata. Second one housefly, Musca domestica is a biological name, genus Musca, family Muscidae, order Diptera, class Insecta, and phylum Arthropoda. Third one mango, Mangifera indica, genus Mangifera, family Anacardiaceae, order Sapindales, class Dicotyledonea, and here we'll mention division since it is plants, Angiospermae. Wheat Triticum aestivum, Triticum is the genus name, family name Poaceae, order Poales, class Monocotyledonea, and division Angiospermae. So from this any one plant and one animal example you have to study by heart all the categories.